Sorry. Wobble. Just trying to make your life more interesting. Give you a bit more editing. Woo, new year, new me. We are now in 2022. Can't believe we are here already. Christmas actually went quite quickly in the end. Had a pretty typical Christmas, I think, of COVID. Actually, we managed to get away for skiing for 5 days, which was brilliant, so nice, like really good snow, sunshine, no one on the slopes because France very nicely banned all the British people just after we got out there. But yeah, really, really good 5 days. Like no training, just skiing, but lots of skiing. That was really good. Then got back, had a bit of a cold when I got back, didn't really think much of it. Went home for Christmas, obviously post lateral flow test before everybody tells me off, which were all negative. Then Christmas morning, meant to be going to church, obviously all lateral flow tested again and mine came back positive. Sent down to the walk-in PCR test on Christmas Day, which is what everybody wants to do. That took a little while to come back, but obviously at that point I was like, I've kind of got symptoms of a cold, and that's when everyone was saying 50% of people with symptoms have got COVID. I was one of that 50%. So I had a few more days of, I guess, isolating than I was planning, so an extra few days before I got back into proper routine of training. But because I didn't feel ill, I managed to get back in the endless pool, which is quite nice. Last week's first proper week of training. Really felt like it, really felt very unfit. Biggest break that I've taken ever, because I guess it's probably ended up being about maybe 6 weeks of not really, like 3 weeks of like basically no training, and then another 3 weeks of very unstructured training, of like fitting around skiing and then being at home. But I think it was good to have that break. Definitely noticed it, particularly in the pool. As I know, swimming for me drops off a cliff and takes a while to come back. Spent all of last week feeling horribly unfit. Finally started feeling a bit better by the weekend on the bike, but then this week that's kind of gone downhill again. So I think, you know, everyone knows when you start trying to come back and start getting fit again, it's quite hard, especially when it's this cold. But yeah, just next 4 weeks will be getting back into general training routine, trying to get that base level of fitness before trying to do any proper work. Basically, February will be out in Spain, a couple of weeks in Lanzarote, a couple of weeks in Calpe, just getting some more bike miles in mainly, and the nicer weather. March will be back home. April, probably planning to race Oceanside 70.3. Beginning of April, and then stay out in America for a bit of an altitude camp for St. George. So I guess like this first part of the year is very focused on St. George, working towards that, trying to get to a point of putting together a more complete Ironman by the World Champs. Super excited to race on that big stage. I think it's been so long since we've had that World Championships, and there's a few people who haven't raced Ironman for ages. I guess, you know, someone like Lucy Charles hasn't raced an Ironman, but she's clearly shown massive improvements over the shorter distances, so it'll be like really exciting to see what she does. Generally looking forward to being able to do my first professional World Champs. Hopefully just continuing to improve across everything. I'm not super fussed about doing anything in March. I could pop across to Lanzarote and do Lanzarote 70.3 or Gran Canaria, Challenge Gran Canaria, but I'll probably make a bit of a call based on where my fitness is at and how easy travel is by that point. Obviously things keep changing. The other consideration is where my ranking is, and if I think I need more races to get a better ranking to make sure I'm included in the PTO Tour races in July and September. So I think also I might be tempted to do more racing just to try and give me more chance of getting more points and being higher ranked. All considerations to take into account. I think probably the only the only definite is St George. Even Oceanside is a bit of a may change, but it looks like a great race, so I think fairly certain. Second half of the year will start, well, post St George I'm actually going to go and have a bit of time chilling out in the Bryce National Park and Yosemite with my dad and my brother and his girlfriend. I actually don't know about Vegas. Like, I would want to do Vegas with some friends, so I don't think my dad is the one to do Vegas with. He's far too sensible and he would tell me off for trying to gamble all my money away. But yeah, no, gonna go do like a week of just like walking, bit of swimming in lakes, just, yeah, recovering from St George. Hopefully recovering, because hopefully I would have been able to put it all out there. Maybe doing some stuff with sub 8 end of June, but that'll be fairly low-key for me because I'll just be helping on the bike, obviously. I mean, obviously Lucy wanted me to help in the swim, but I thought I'd be too fast, so I am a good wind block. Everyone wants to draft me. Then Canada, hopefully, for the PTO race in July, if I'm still top 40 by then, which as long as nothing disastrous happens, I hopefully should be. Then, actually I don't know, I've not really planned kind of August yet, because I might want to race more, I might want to just have a good training block. It obviously depends a little bit on how St George went. And then September, still debating what to kind of do there, whether to go and do like a bit of altitude before Dallas, whether I'd want to do Dallas with how close it is to Kona. And then yeah, hopefully some prep in Maui before Kona. Rough shape of the year, but obviously the other thing is COVID might change everything again, things might all get moved around, but generally this year just want to do as much racing against the best people as I can, which will probably involve all the PTO events as well as the World Champs. See what else I can do. Currently trying to get fit because I'm very unfit in all three. Got a long way to go to get back to where I was in the pool, but I'm hoping that's just like a couple of weeks of getting feel for the water back and general fitness. Bike-wise, hopefully won't take too long, but then also it'll be getting used to my new bike, dialing in the position, making sure that I've got everything set up on that. And then yeah, running. To be honest, running, it's just kind of building that really strong base. Like I want to try and get through this year without any injuries. I mean, obviously that's always the case, but I think probably learn a few things from last year around actually just really keeping on top of all that kind of calf and Achilles strength. And also thinking about how I ramp up my training, how much actual fast stuff I need to do versus just tempo. Yeah, I actually think probably need to do a bit more of the faster stuff for those PTO races, because looking at the speed that people are running at now, need to be a lot faster. First half of the year, the run up to St George, probably just be doing a bit more tempo to kind of stick on the safe side, and just build a bit more volume in. I think Mallorca showed that bike volume really pays off for me, both on the bike and the run. So it's just trying to, again, get that balance of the bike and run volume as to what works best for me. Ooh, that's a tough question. Best season. Best season for me, obviously being able to perform to my best in St George and Kona. I think actually being able to step up on that World Championship stage and put together an overall good race would be really good. Like, I don't really, you know, people always say, where do you think that'll place you? I don't really think you can say, because it's so dependent on other people's races. But I think, you know, if I can look back at both those races, having not had any mechanicals, having been able to just, I think for me, with all my races this year, if I can at least swim with the main group, that'll be a massive win and tick for me. And then yeah, it's just executing the rest of the race well. I'd really like to be able to do well at some of the shorter distances as well. Like, I think hopefully now my swim is more in that main pack. That kind of sets me up for a better 70.3 distance kind of race. The best season would be continuing to progress and like make improvements and see things come. Hopefully ends up in my first sub 3 marathon off the bike. That would be really nice. But generally I don't have that many like numbers on stuff, because a lot of it's much more about just putting together that overall race. I think if I can just keep seeing general improvements across all three, enjoy the racing, get out to lots of different racing. You know, there's obviously quite a lot of opportunity this year, so just go and enjoy it and see a bit more of the world.